I'd like to thank you, Silver Dragons, for suggesting this video collab. You always create top quality and relevant content, and I'm a big fan of your channel. You asked me if the gold to silver ratio determines what I buy. Well, it's not the only factor I use, but the short answer is yes. The U.S. Geological Survey estimates that there's 17.5 times more silver in the Earth's crust than gold. By this statistic, you would think that the gold to silver ratio should be 17.5 to 1, but it's nowhere near that today. It's actually sitting at 85 to 1 as of the making of this video, and that's incredibly high even by historical standards. It's nearly 60% above the 20-year average. The last time the GSR was this high was 27 years ago in 1991. The gold to silver ratio during the 20th century averaged between 47 and 50 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. A GSR of 85 to 1 means that statistically silver is extremely undervalued right now. We know that silver market manipulation plays a huge role to keep the price suppressed, but when that manipulation finally stops and the free market is able to establish true price discovery, I believe we will see an extreme correction, bringing the price of these two metals closer to their natural ratio. When the gold to silver ratio is greater than 50 to 1, I consider silver to be the better buy. If the gold to silver ratio reaches 30 to 1 or lower, I feel gold is the better buy. But we have to be mindful that these threshold ratios only apply under the current economic conditions. Different variables could make these target ratios change. Silver Dragons, you asked me if I will be converting silver to gold at some point. The answer is again yes. History has shown that during financial crisis, the ratios between these two metals almost always drastically adjusts to a more balanced ratio. I believe the next financial crisis will be global and not just national or regional, and thus we will be seeing massive amounts of global money rushing into safe havens like the precious metals. When this happens, I believe the price of precious metals will shoot to the moon. At some point during this event, the price of silver will increase to a point that it will be time to begin to transfer a percentage of my silver holdings over to the yellow metal. You asked me at what ratio I would begin converting my silver to gold. I actually track the GSR for every one of my silver purchases, and thus have established my stack's average GSR. So, based on this and my analysis of historical trends during and after financial crisis events, I would begin to consider swapping a percentage of my silver holdings to gold at about 30 to 1. But I would dollar cost average the process and not do it all at once. At the current gold to silver ratio, if I was holding any gold right now, I would be selling it as fast as I could. You also asked me if I thought that the gold to silver ratio would go down again in the future. Yes, historically, during financial crisis events, the GSR always attempts to find its natural equilibrium. That is, right up until the market manipulators suppress it back down in order to feed the stock market money machine and keep the dollar artificially inflated. So I believe that there will be either a short window when the GSR will flex lower before manipulation starts again, and then offer an opportunity to take advantage of a lower GSR, or when the manipulation finally stops altogether and the markets are allowed to freely trade based upon the economic laws of supply and demand. We can only hope this happens sooner rather than later. I wish to once again thank you, Silver Dragons, for inviting me to be part of this collaboration with you. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope we can do it again soon.